Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Agam Sharma, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department, Chandigarh Polytechnic College. So today we'll be learning about our next chapter, that is cement. So as we all know, cement is a binding material which we mostly use for binding our units like bricks, like also used to combine our sand and aggregates also that makes a concrete. So any type of unit which need to be joined together, that is we are doing by the cement in our construction field. So it is not only providing a binding property, but it is also providing our structure as a strength also whenever it sets harden. So it also provides a strength to our structure. So that's why it is also used for our whenever we have to provide any strengthful structure. So we use the cement. So cement is basically a binder or a substance used in construction that sets, hardens, and adheres to the other materials and binding them together. So whenever like cement and sand and aggregates, whenever we mix them together, so that makes a concrete. So whenever we have to lay a wall masonry, so we are using cement and sand mixture. So that's make a cement mortar. So whenever, like I said, it is a binding material also, and it is also giving a strength to our structure. So then it is a powdery form. So whenever it is coming to the construction field, so it will be in the powder form. But initially stage, it has to be manufactured in our industries, and various type of material which is used for our manufacturing of cement is like calcareous materials, like any material which contains calcium or alumina, that is argillaceous materials. So likewise, we'll be studying about our various manufacturing processes and what are the tests which we need to conduct before using those cement into our construction field. So moving forward, the cement is defined as a product which is manufactured by burning and crushing. Like I said, it is manufactured, but the raw material which is used, it is totally a natural material, but it has to be industrialized, it has to be manufactured in the industry. So that's why it is a artificial material. So likewise, as I said, it is an artificial material. So we can strengthen them, or we can we can modify its strength, its material constituents. So we can modify that part also. So it is an intimate mixture of calcareous and argillaceous materials. So calcareous materials are those which contains calcium in it. Then argillaceous materials are those which contain alumina or like silica contents in it. So the raw material which is used for cement manufacturing are, so first we have is lime. So lime is the most important material which is used for manufacturing a cement. That is approximately 50 to 60% of the percentage of cement contains a lime. So like I said, lime is a major quality, that is calcium oxide. It is a major constituent which you need to have in our cement. And also materials like chalk, shells, shale, and any type of calcareous rocks or materials can be used for making of cement. So then second material we have is silica, that is SiO2, that's obtained from basically sands, clay, and that is a argillaceous rocks. So argillaceous rocks, so जो भी आपको argillaceous rocks में से material मिलेगा, so that we call it as a argillaceous material. Then we have is alumina. So it is again a argillaceous material and obtained from argillaceous rock. The alumina is that is Al2O3 and obtained from bauxite, and recycled aluminium and clay can be used instead of alumina also. So then we have is iron, that is Fe2O3. So obtained from clay, iron ores, or scrap iron, and fly ash also. So these other materials like fly ash, that is a waste product of industry, coal industry, so that can be used in our iron part, that also contain certain iron. So then the last one we have is our gypsum. So that is CaSO4, 2H2O, then formed together with limestone. So whenever we need to enhance the properties of a cement, so we use this gypsum to enhance its property and to increase the initial setting time of cement. So that is also used while clinkering or while in the manufacturing processes. Then I hope you all have seen the cement bag earlier. So cement bag आप सबके घर में mostly construction जब भी होती है, so we used to buy a cement bag. So I hope you have gone through the various products or indication which is mentioned on a cement bag earlier. So let me just brief you about it also. So on the top of it, you will see there is a user guide on it. So it says use no hoods. So You don't have to use any hooks like for the laborers who is transporting or placing one bag to another place or one distributor to another distributor. So you don't have to use hooks on a cement bag to lift it up, because it will leave a hole or tear that cement bag. So it will automatically leave that cement to exposed to the weather, and it will also deteriorate or decompose its properties. Then we have his IS code. So there will be IS code which is which will be mentioned on that cement bag, means on what circumstances, on what recommendation that cement is manufactured. So what are the various codes which is followed for manufacturing of cement, that will has to be mentioned on a cement bag. Then is ISI mark. So that is Indian standard mark. It has to be. So that is totally identification mark that has to be there. So when you will see it, if it is a red color, like in this image, if it is a red color mark, though, so that represent that is a Portland pozzolana cement. So that is a one type of a cement. But if it is in the black color, so that represent it's a ordinary Portland cement. So these are the main difference between a ordinary Portland and Portland cement bags. So you will see that mark has to be black or a red. So you will see the difference between. No, nevertheless, you will also find the mark and grade and type of cement on the bag also. So as I will see in the on the right side, it is mentioned the Portland pozzolana cement. So as I said, it is a red color mark, so it will be a Portland pozzolana cement. That is a type of a cement. We will go through that Portland pozzolana cement and ordinary Portland cement further, but for now you have to just understand it. There has to be mentioned that grade and type of cement on the cement bags also. So then we have his batch and unit number that will be mentioned on the block side. So there will be batch and unit on which basis it is manufactured, on which batch it is manufactured, so that you can identify it. So then we have his brand name also. So we'll see that there will be a brand name also on the mentioned and printed on the cement bag. Then the MRP, that is maximum retail price of that bag, so that distributor or the seller is not selling you above that manufacturing price. So it has to be mentioned there. Then we have his manufacturing name also. So manufacturer name will be also mentioned on the bottom of that cement bag. So there is two more thing which will mention on the cement bag also. There, the first one is your weight of cement bag. So that 50 kg of cement bag is mostly used in our India. So that 50 kg has to be mentioned. That net weight of that cement has to be mentioned there. That is 50 kg. Then another thing which will mention there, that will be your manufacturing date. So which will be discussing further. That is also a checking of cement also. That will be coming to the testing of cement bag on a side, which will be discussing further. So there you will not see a normal manufacturing date or expiry date on a cement bag. It has to be identified first, and it has to be check it out whether it is good for use or not, whether it is in due time to use or not. Then we have his flow diagram of manufacturing of cement. So like I said, it is manufactured in the industries. So there are certain procedures which need to be followed in the manufacturing industry. So the first procedure, like I said, it is made up of two type of material. So two type of material which is used for manufacturing of cements are calcareous and argillaceous materials. So calcareous materials like calcium, lime, any type of material which contains calcium in it, and argillaceous like which contains alumina or silica in it. So those two are the material which is mostly used for manufacturing cement. So then they are further, so there are two type of presses, dry process and wet process also. So in a dry process, they are crushed together, but if it is a wet process, so then they are washed together. So whenever they are washed or crushed, whatever the process you are following, so after that, they has to be stored in a basins. So then the washing is done and crushing is done. They have to store in the basin. On that basins part, so the conveyor belt will guide that or transport that materials to a one mixture part. So that whole mixture, the whole argillaceous and calcareous materials are mixed together in a kiln, mixtures. Then after they will be fed to the rotary kilns. So they are the kilns which is used for burning of or manufacturing of those cement is a rotary kiln, we call it as a. So that channel represents a rotary kiln, and then further, whenever it is the calcination process is done, mostly the process, the rotary kiln in the kilns, the mostly process the temperature which has to be maintained, it is approximately 14 to 1600 degree centigrade. So the temperature has to be there, so that proper burning is there. So whenever that rotary process is there, that burning process is completed, so that formation of clinker will be there. So what happens? So whenever it comes into the conducts of a fire, so whenever the fire is coming into the conduct, so the clinker formation will be there. So clinker means that there will be lumps formation in that part also. So that lump formation will be there in your cement part. So that lumps, whenever it like it has to be grind further. Like you said, if you have seen that cement, आपने cement अगर देखा हो तो आपको पता होगा the cement is in the powder form. So initial stage में that cement is in the lumps formation. तो उन slump formation को आपको grind करना पड़ता है. That process is a like grinding process. तो grinding process आपकी होती है tube mills और ball mills में. So in those mills, so your whole process and the whole clinker formation is totally finely grind together. उनको एक powder form में बनाया जाता है. So that powder formation is done. उसके बाद it has to be like furtherly conveyed to the your basins में, जहाँ पे storage basin हो गया, then it has to be furtherly packed, and storage basin के बाद it has to be supplied. So whenever it is properly इनकी formation होगी है, at that time of ball mills and tube mills, so certain amount of 2 to 3% of gypsum is also added into the cements also. So that their initial setting time and final setting time should be altered, so that after it is done, so then it is like then fed to the basins. After that basins path, it will be fed to the storage basins. So storage basin से आपका जाएंगे supply में. So storage basin में आपकी packing होगी, packing units के बाद आपके distributor and sellers को supply होने start हो जाएंगे. So like I said, if the first says it is a kiln, so kiln के बाद it is then clinker formation will be there. So after the clinkering is done, so gypsum of certain percentage will be added into the clinker formation. So then the both will be mixed together and then grind together. So the grinding will be there for mixing and making into the powder form. So whenever it is powder form, so then it will be fed to the storage silo. Storage silo will be a chamber which will be like holding that cement part, and after that it will be fed to the bagging facility. So that bagging facility will further lead to the various distributors again. Then coming to the types of cement now. So after that manufacturing process, there will be certain types of cement which we commonly use in our construction field. So the first will be mainly discussing about various type of cement in this slide. So we'll be coming to the first one is rapid hardening cement. So as the name indicating, it is a very hard rapid hardening cement. So it hard very easily, and most used for prefabricated concrete construction. So that means prefabricated means it is already like manufactured, already like molded into the formwork, means whatever shape you want to give, it is already given in the industry or in the site. Okay, so then after that the whole process is there, and your concrete is hauled already. So then it is then fed to or transported to your construction site, so wherever it has to be used. So after it is used, then so it is then cured there, like in the road works also, like whenever you are making a road work. So if you are not using any cast in situ construction, so it has to be pre-casted. So that prefabricated concrete has to be rapid hardening cement. Means wherever you have to go and use your work very fastly, or you need to complete that work very fast, and you need to utilize that construction whichever you are doing. So there we are using a rapid hardening cement, so that it sets very fast, so that you can use that structure whatever you are making very easily and fastly. Then second we have is low heat cement. So this cement is most used in a mass concrete construction. So wherever there will be mass construction like dams and all, so there will be low heat generates. So as you know, whenever you mix the cement with your water, so it generates certain type of heats in there. So that also leads to a certain cracking spots also. So to remove that, or to prevent to happening it, we are using a low heat cement. So wherever it will be the interconductor for water, so there we are using it as a low heat cement there. Third we have is white cement. So white cement is basically अपने सबके घर में use होता है for the tiles making के लिए. So whenever you join a tiles together, so we are using a white cement. So it is mainly used for a decorative purposes, like I said, exterior and interior both. So white cement is used there. So then we have is Portland Pozzolana cement. Portland Pozzolana cement, like I said, it is a Portland cement. Portland, where does the name comes from? So basically in the 1824, Joseph Espidon gave the name as a Portland cement. So it was in the 1824, the Joseph was given has given the name of a Portland cement, and it has a similarity in color and quality found in the Portland stone. So there is a stone which is known as a Portland stone, which is the same quality and the color of a cement. So which is white gray limestone in island of Portland, Dorset. So Portland pozzolana cement is basically a mixture of a ordinary Portland cement and certain percentage of a fly ash, silica, or various of wastages which is coming from our coal industry, iron industry, and like rice industries. So there is a wastage which is coming from that. So that ash is used in mixing and manufacturing of Portland pozzolana cement. So certain percentage when we combine them with the OPC cement, so that makes a pozzolana Portland cement. It has a very fine grain property, and it adheres very property. It doesn't leave any voids in it. So that's why we are mostly using in our Portland pozzolana cement in our main constructions also. So then we have is colored cement. So colored cement, as the name indicates, it contains a certain type of color in it. So that's 5 to 10% of pigment that is providing a color to a cement. So whatever the tint or whatever color you are desired to make or desire to have it, so we are adding that pigment into that cement and manufacturing that cement. So mostly used for the decorative purposes, as the name indicating colored cement है. So it will be used जहाँ पे आपको colored चाहिए, ठीक है. So then we have is Portland blast furnace slag cement. So blast furnace is basically a waste product which is obtained from your iron industry. तो जो iron industry का जो wastage होता है, जो उसकी जो ash है, so that जो उसकी राख है, जो उसकी ash है, that we are using for manufacturing a cement, that is a blast furnace slash में. So आपकी जो blast furnace होती है, so उसकी burning से उसकी जो ash है, आपका जो cement बन रहा है, that we call it as a Portland blast furnace cement. So this is mostly used advantages in a mass construction work such as dams. तो mostly आपका dams वगैरह में use होता है, and it gives a very good strength. So then we have is high alumina cement. High alumina cement is compressive strength is very high as compared to other ordinary Portland cement है. उसके comparatively आपकी high alumina cement की काफी ज़्यादा strength है, because it like आपके जो marines में जहाँ पे आपका जो काफी mass structure होता है, तो वहाँ पे हम इसको use करते हैं high alumina cements को marines पे underwater. So we are using that type of cement there. So then last one we have is ordinary Portland cement. So ordinary Portland cements के आपको various grades दिख जाएंगे market में. So like 33, 43 and 53 grade cement you will be finding there. So it is used for general construction purposes where special properties are not required, such as reinforced concrete buildings, bridges, pavements, and where soil conditions are normal. So wherever soil conditions are normal, you are using this type of cement where no such heavy and important property you need to have it there. So we are using ordinary Portland cement there. So there is a major difference between an ordinary Portland cement and a Portland pozzolana cement. So that we'll be discussing now. So initially OPC cement is prepared from a mixture of limestone and raw argillaceous and calcareous cement, like I said. ठीक है, तो आपका जो ordinary Portland cement that is a mixture of calcareous and argillaceous material, ठीक है, like आपके lime and clay, alumina, etc. So PPC cement is prepared by adding pozzolanic material to OPC cement. तो आपका जो PPC cement है, that is manufacturing by mixing that OPC cement with आपके pozzolanic material. अब आपके pozzolanic material कौन से हैं? That is like your fly ash हो गया. Fly ash is mostly obtained from your आपकी जो industry है, coal industry है, उनमें से जो ash निकलती है, जो उसमें से राख निकलती है, वो हम use करते हैं. Then silica fume also. Rice husk coming from a rice industry, उनकी जो wastage है वहां से आपको मिल रही है. Then blast furnace slag, like in the iron industry or metal industry में से आपको जो ash मिल रही है, that is your blast furnace slag, उसको हम slag बोलते हैं. तो mixing it with the OPC cement, that makes a PPC cement. Then the initial strength of OPC is higher than PPC. अब जो initial strength है आपकी OPC की, that is very high as compared to your PPC, but for a longer period, आपकी जो longer duration में जो strength आपकी PPC gain करता है, that is not achieved by a OPC. So for the long duration के लिए आपकी जो strength आपकी जो PPC की होता है, that is very high. So that's why we are using PPC in most of our construction. Then we have this final setting of OPC cement is comparatively lower than PPC. तो आपका जो final setting time है OPC का, वो कम है as compared to आपका PPC cement. So cement which makes it effective for your construction. So this PPC आपका जो cement है, उसकी जो setting time that is different than your OPC cement. So OPC cement is less durable in aggressive weather as compared to PPC cement. Aggressive weather like जहाँ पे आपकी काफी ज्यादा बारिश हो रही है, काफी ज्यादा heat है वहाँ पे, काफी ज्यादा temperature down चल रहा है, like cold weather है. So that is a aggressive weather. So in those areas में आपका OPC cement ज्यादा durable नहीं रहता. So for the durability consideration से आप PPC cement को ज्यादा prefer करते हो. So then OPC cement is costlier as compared to PPC because OPC cement जो है that is a only purest materials इसमें use हो रहा है, raw material जिसमें use हो रहा है that is a purest form. But इसमें जो PPC है, PPC form में, PPC cement में you are using a base product. तो आपके अगर बेस प्रोडक्ट की आपके जो रॉ मटेरियल की कॉस्ट अगर कम है, सो ऑटोमेटिकली दैट कॉस्ट ऑफ दैट फाइनल प्रोडक्ट विल आल्सो बी लेस. So that's the reason कि आपकी जो PPC सीमेंट की जो कॉस्ट है that is lesser as compared to your OPC सीमेंट. Like आपको अगर OPC सीमेंट 400 या 420 430 का मिल रहा है मार्केट में, so that same grade of PPC you will be finding in our like 380 350 rupees में आपको easily मिल जाएगा. So there is not as much different, but if you will see at a bigger rate, bigger price, bigger quantity rate पर देखोगे, so that manufacturing costs is lesser as compared to your OPC. So that's why the final product cost is also less in a PPC cement. So that's why it is a better option for a residential construction. So residential construction has to be budgeted. ठीक है, तो budget को mind में रखते हुए, so we are using a PPC cement there. So then OPC generates more heat during hydration reaction, making it unsuitable for mass casting. तो OPC cement का एक disadvantage ये है कि whenever you using it for a mass construction, कोई ज़्यादा heavy construction है, तो उन area में it will generate a very high amount of heat and hydration process reaction will be there. So to avoid that, because it is not good for your construction, so that's why we are using a PPC cement, because it is not leading or not reacting with the hydration process or not emitting any high gases in it. Then cement test, there are certain tests which we need to conduct on our construction site. So there are certain tests which we'll be discussing now. So the first is color test. So color test has to be the greenish gray color has to be there. So जब भी आपके पास सीमेंट बैग आता है साइड पे, आप उसमें कुछ जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक जो आप साइड पे पता कर सकते हो उसके, ठीक है, whether it is good for use or not. तो फर्स्ट आपका कलर हो गया, तो you can check the color. It has to be greenish gray color, light greenish gray color. It has to be there. Presence of lumps should not be there. ठीक है, if you press it down, आप अगर सीमेंट बैग को प्रेस करके देखते हो तो हार्ड लम्स उसमें नहीं प्रेजेंट होने चाहिए. अल्टरेशन टेस्ट आपका होता है. सो व्हेनेवर यू आर ओपनिंग दैट सीमेंट बैग, आप ओपन करने के बाद उसको टच करते हो, यू आर रबिंग इट इनटू द फिंगर, तो आप इट शुड गिव अ पाउडर फील. आपको वो पाउडर फील होनी चाहिए, बिकॉज वो उसकी ग्राइंडिंग प्रॉपर्टी और उसकी इम्प्योरिटीज उसमें है कि नहीं है, दैट विल बी डिसाइडिंग द इन द अल्टरेशन. सो अल्टरेशन उसमें नहीं होनी चाहिए, मींस उसमें कोई अब्रेजन आपको फील नहीं होना चाहिए, सैंड की फील नहीं आनी चाहिए. सो देन टेम्परेचर टेस्ट. Temperature test is basically whenever you insert your hand inside your cement bag, so it should give a cool feel. Then flow test. So flow test आपका होता है basically you just take a glass of water there. ठीक है, glass of water में you just थोड़ा little bit amount of cement you need to put it there. तो वो little seconds के लिए it should float there. ठीक है, like 5 to 10 seconds it should float. उसके बाद it should immerse. तो immediately अगर वो immerse हो रहा है, so that means it is not good for use and it will be it is exposed to the weather for a longer time. So that's why so आपका जो normal cement है it should float for a few seconds. उसके बाद आपके कुछ laboratory tests हैं which we can't do on a site. They has to be tested on a laboratory. So first आपका है strength test. तो strength test आपका रहेगा compression testing machine में. So आपको एक mold बनाना है. Mold बनाने के बाद it has to be cured for 7 days, 14 days and 20 days के लिए आपको various sample बना लेने हैं. So after that various strength बाद आपको compression testing machine में रखना है days के बाद. So that curing is done. उसके बाद you have to test it there. तो test के बाद आपके पास strength आनी चाहिए. So that strength will be like defining the strength property. So then setting test also. So आपके setting test के लिए Vickers mold use होगा. तो initial setting time and final setting time आपका decide होगा. So initial setting time should not be less than 30 minutes of a cement and final setting time should not be more than 10 hours. So उसके बाद आपका soundness test है. Soundness is basically आपको check करना है कि उसमें lime की quantity ज़्यादा तो नहीं है, so that it is not expanding after it is reacting with the water. तो water में react होने के बाद वो expand तो नहीं कर रहा, so which will lead to cracks part. तो वो soundness आपको check करनी. Then last one we have is date of packing. That we'll be discussing now. So date of packing is basically has to be mentioned on a cement bag in the week, month and year format. तो सबसे पहले आपका वीक फॉर्मेट आता है, उसके बाद आपका मंथ फॉर्मेट आएगा, उसके बाद ईयर फॉर्मेट आएगा। लाइक नॉर्मल में आपको देखता है कि सिंपल नॉर्मल किसी भी प्रोडक्ट पे आपको डेट मेंशन होती है, मींस 24 August, yeah, some certain date will be mentioned there, 24 August 2019, it has to be mentioned, and expiry date will be also mentioned there. But in the cement case, it is not mentioned clearly. It is mentioned in the case of a week, month and ईयर। तो जनवरी 1 से आपका वीक वन स्टार्ट हो जाता है, किसी भी ईयर का जनवरी 1, इट विल स्टार्टिंग ऑफ योर वीक 1। सो कंसेक्टिवली आपके वेरियस वीक्स आते रहेंगे, जैसे जनवरी में आपके अगर 4 वीक्स हैं तो उसमें वीक 4 लिखा होगा, सो दैट मींस फोर्थ वीक में मंथ लिखा होगा 1, ठीक है, मींस जनवरी फोर्थ वीक, एंड ईयर लिखा होगा, सो दैट विल बी मेंशनिंग ऑन अ सीमेंट बैग। Test, there is certain brief also which I've noted down here. So like I said, I've already mentioned you there. So there are date of packing will be there, color test has to be greenish gray, presence of lumps should not be there, ठीक है। alteration test means fineness उसकी check होनी, temperature should be cool, it should not feel warm, ठीक है। then flow test, for few seconds आपका cement वो flow करना चाहिए whenever it comes, whenever you insert into the water। स्ट्रेंथ से आपको मैंने बताया, ठीक है, आपका जो 25 into 25 into 200 mm का एक आपको सीमेंट ब्लॉक बनाना है, ठीक है, इमर्स इन वाटर फॉर 7 days, उसके बाद आपकी वो टेस्टिंग करेगी। देन सेटिंग टाइम विकेट्स मोड में रहेगी आपकी फॉर 30 to 10 minutes आपका इनिशियल एंड फाइनल सेटिंग टाइम रिस्पेक्टिवली। देन उसके बाद आपका एक और है, वो आपको मैंने बताया था सीमेंट बैग का। सीमेंट बैग में इसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस आपको पता करनी है, सो दैट एक्सपायरी डेट, now coming to the expiry date, now expiry date has to be आपका जो सीमेंट है from its manufacturing date, like आपको मैंने बताया it will be represented in the week, month and year format, so W M and Y will be mentioned there। आपको एक ब्लॉक दिखेगा सीमेंट में साइड में, ठीक है, on the side you will see there will be a block, a rectangular block which is cut down, तो उसमें week, month and year mention किया होगा। so week represents किस week में वो बना हुआ है, means W01, that means जनवरी 1, जनवरी के फर्स्ट वीक में। मंथ लिखा होगा, that means which कौन से मंथ में, मंथ का either it will be in the Jan format में लिखा होगा या 01, 02, 03 numeric format में, then year will be mentioned there, ठीक है। on that basis पे जो उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग डेट है उसके 90 days means approximately 3 months के बीच बीच में you have to use that cement, so that will be a expiry date of a cement bag। तो 90 days के बीच बीच में you have to use that cement bag so that it is not expiring। after 90 days what will happen, it will absorb, it will starting absorbing the moisture content and it will start reducing its strength, ठीक है। so that has to be concerned। so 90 days के बीच बीच में आपको सीमेंट को बैग को यूज करना है from its manufacturing। अब कमिंग टू द लेबोरेटरी टेस्ट आपके कुछ हैं। सो फर्स्ट आपका है फाइनेस टेस्ट आपको, ठीक है, तो आईएस सीव नंबर 9 आपकी यूज होगी फॉर 90 माइक्रोन की सीव में से आप उसको टेस्ट करोगे, ठीक है। सो दैट फाइनेस शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 10%। अगर आप 100 ग्राम सीमेंट ले रहे हो तो उसमें से 10 ग्राम ही उसमें मैक्सिमम पास होना चाहिए, ठीक है। तो उससे अगर ज्यादा पास हो रहा है आपकी 90 माइक्रोन सीव में से, सो दैट मींस आपका जो सीमेंट है दैट इज नॉट मींस सॉरी, so that 90% of cement can be passed there। तो आपका जो रिटेन सरफेस है, तो रिटेन आपका जो 90 ऊपर के रहना चाहिए, that has to be 10% maximum। उससे अगर ज्यादा आपका रिटेन हो रहा है सीमेंट, उसमें अगर इम्प्योरिटीज ज्यादा हैं, so it will be retained there, so that means that cement cannot be used। then consistency test, so consistency test is basically for to its ability to flow, so that is defining its water absorption। तो कितना आपको वाटर इसमें डालना है सीमेंट में, that will be defining by consistency test into a wickets mold with a plunger। तो wickets mold में with the help of plunger you will be doing that consistency test, means how much water you will be have to add in a cement। so then setting time is initial and final setting time I already told you। तो wicket apparatus यूज होगा इसमें, इसमें आपकी various needles यूज होती हैं initial setting time में, final setting के लिए separate है। तो initial setting time की जो एक लिमिट है that has to be should not be less than 30 minutes, means 30 minutes से पहले आपका जो सीमेंट है वो सेट नहीं होना चाहिए। उसके बाद फाइनल सेंटेंस मींस आफ्टर यू हैव प्लेस दैट सीमेंट, आपने उसको प्लेस कर दिया उसकी जगह पे, लोकेशन पे, तो 10 आवर्स आपका मैक्सिमम लेना चाहिए फॉर गेनिंग दैट स्ट्रेंथ। अगर वो 10 आवर्स से ज्यादा ले रहा है मींस आपकी जो कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रोसेस है वो स्लो होनी स्टार्ट हो जाएगी, मींस यू कैन नॉट कंस्ट्रक्ट एनी अदर for the components on it after 10 hours also, so that means your structure will be failing apart or your cement is failing apart। strength like I said it will be done in a compression testing machine, ठीक है, on various days, specific days के बाद 7 days, 14 days और आप 28 days के बाद उसकी क्यूरिंग करने के बाद उसके टेस्ट करोगे, you will be getting the strength in the Newton per mm square। उसके बाद साउंडनेस है. साउंडनेस इज बेसिकली लीच आर्टिल अपरेटस आपका यूज होगा फॉर चेकिंग द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अनकंबाइंड लाइम और मैग्नीशिया इन इट. ठीक है, सो इफ इट इज देयर सो द योर सीमेंट विल स्टार्टिंग एक्सपेंडिंग. तो वो एक्सपेंडिंग की क्वांटिटी आपको फाइंड आउट करनी है. देयर हैज टू बी सर्टेन लिमिट व्हिच इट शुड नॉट एक्सीड. ठीक है, सो 10 mm की लिमिट है, वो एक्सीड नहीं होने चाहिए. देन इज एप्लीकेशन वी हैव इज एप्लीकेशन मींस आप कहाँ पे सीमेंट को यूज करते हो. एज वी ऑलरेडी नो, ठीक है, बीइंग अ सिविल इंजीनियर या नॉर्मल पर्सन, आप सबको पता है कि सीमेंट आप कहाँ पे यूज करते हो. तो सीमेंट इज बेसिकली मेनली यूज फॉर मोर्टार, फॉर प्लास्टरिंग, मेसनरी वर्क एंड पॉइंटिंग एटसेट्रा. ठीक है, तो जो भी आपने वॉल बनानी है, वॉल भी प्लास्टर करना है, तो वहां पे आपका सीमेंट यूज होगा. यूज फॉर मेकिंग जॉइंट्स फॉर ड्रेन एंड पाइप्स. ठीक है, ड्रेनेज के लिए और उनके जॉइंट्स बनाने के लिए, पाइप्स बनाने के लिए इन आपके यूज हो रहा है सीमेंट पाइप्स के लिए और कंक्रीट पाइप्स के लिए. देन इट इज यूज्ड फॉर वाटर टाइटनेस ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर. ठीक है, तो इट इज आल्सो अ वाटर इम्परमेबल मटेरियल आपका सीमेंट है. ठीक है, सो whenever it is hard, so it is not absorbing as much of water in it, so it is also used as a water tightness of structure. ठीक है, लाइक आप व्हाइट सीमेंट है मोस्टली, जहाँ पे मोस्टली आपको दिख ज्यादा आपके वाटर सिस्टम्स हैं. ठीक है, देन आपके जो टॉयलेट सीट्स हैं, तो उनमें आप व्हाइट सीमेंट यूज करते हो बिकॉज water tightness आपको मिल जाती है, so it will not let the water pass from it itself. Then used in concrete for laying floors. अब आपका कंक्रीट जहां पे भी यूज हो रहा है, wherever you are using your concrete, वहां पे आप सीमेंट को यूज कर रहे हो. ठीक है, लाइक फॉर द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ कंक्रीट आप फ्लोर्स में, बीम्स में, कॉलम्स में यू आर यूजिंग देयर. Then it is used where a hard surface is required for the protection of exposed surface of structure against destructive agents of the weather. ठीक है, various destructive agents like heat हो गया, water हो गया, like wind हो गया. So these are the various destructive weathering agencies which is exposing on your structure. ठीक है, तो वहां पे आप सीमेंट को यूज करते हो to protect its surfaces. Then used for precast pipes manufacturing, piles, फेंसिंग पोस्ट एक्सेट्रा. ठीक है, तो प्री कास्टेड मींस आपका सीमेंट जो इंडस्ट्री में बन रहा है, ठीक है, वहीं से आपका जो स्ट्रक्चर प्रिपेयर होकर आ रहा है, दैट इज अ प्री कास्टेड सीमेंट. अब पाइप्स के लिए, ठीक है, या कोई ब्रिजेस के स्ट्रक्चर हैं, कंपोनेंट्स हैं, पियर्स हैं, अडवर्टमेंट्स हैं, उनमें आप यूज करते हो. ठीक है, डैम्स में यूज कर रहे हो, टनल्स में यूज कर रहे हो सीमेंट्स को. ठीक है, प्रिपरेशन ऑफ फाउंडेशन, वाटर टाइट फ्लोर्स, फुटपाथ्स एक्सेट्रा. ठीक है, रोड के लिए आप ऑल्सो यूज कर रहे हो. ठीक है, रोड मेकिंग के लिए आपका जो सीमेंट है वो यूज कर रहा है. रिजिड पेमेंट जब आप बनाते हो, ठीक है, कंक्रीट की, वहां पे आप सीमेंट को यूज करो. सो दीज आर द वेरियस एप्लीकेशन ऑफ सीमेंट जहां पे आप मोस्टली सीमेंट को यूज कर सकते हो. So that's it. That's all of our cement chapter. So I hope you understand everything about it, from its manufacturing to its testing there, okay, and its types. So thank you so much. So for further references, you may also like reference these books also, or you may refer these website for various your doubts and clearance. Thank you so much, everyone.